Over the years, I've talked to various recruiters at top tier firms across Canada to ask them why some candidates who are perfect on paper and great in their interviews don't land jobs. And the common piece of feedback that I have received is that these individuals come across as too polished or too perfect. So, what does that mean when somebody is too polished or too perfect? We take a step back and we think about it from the firm's perspective. A candidate that appears to have no real vulnerabilities or weaknesses doesn't come across as human, or it doesn't come across that they're being genuine, is another way of saying it. What this means is that everybody, no matter how great they are, is always in the process of developing something, a skill, a knowledge base, a talent, or is resolving a weakness. When we can be open and vulnerable in the interview process about the weaknesses we are working on, we come across as self-aware, people who are intent on self-improvement, and the firm's anxiety around, did we miss something with this candidate? Or is there a red flag we didn't pick up on? That concern is alleviated. Basically, it follows the adage, it's better the devil you know than the one you don't. I'd rather hire a candidate, the firm says to itself, I'd rather hire a candidate who I know is aware of their vulnerabilities rather than a candidate that either is hiding them or simply not aware of them. When we're not aware of something, we can't improve upon it. So what is a flattering way of revealing weaknesses in the interview process? Number one, don't look at them as fatal flaws. A weakness can be a skill gap or a knowledge gap. For example, if you are somebody who doesn't have a business or finance background, you can speak to the fact that on weekends you are doing an independent study or you're reading books on corporate finance for lawyers. If you're somebody who's naturally an introvert, you can say that one of the things you're working on is being more extroverted. After all, law is a client service driven profession, and you do need to be able to build relationships with your peers and with clients outside the firm. So one of the things you might be doing is taking on more extracurricular activities this year, or working a part-time job as a server at a busy restaurant to build your skill set around interacting with people you haven't met before and learning to build rapport with them. You can also talk about skill-based vulnerabilities, such as learning to organize and manage your time a little better, and that you've come up with a scheduling system for how you're now going to do your readings and accomplish that while juggling your part-time job and your extracurriculars. But be open and forthcoming with them. It demonstrates, once again, a high degree of self-awareness, but also your willingness to improve and work on things. The last piece of advice I would give you is don't hesitate to explain the steps you have taken already to start improving on the weaknesses. So instead of saying that you don't know how to prioritize as well, or you have difficulty saying no and you take on too much, talk about the small steps you've already taken to improve upon that. That way, if there are any concerns that behavior is going to filter into the workplace, it alleviates that concern by showing the firm you are not only aware, but you're proactive about resolving the issue. As long as you can be forthcoming about your weaknesses and vulnerabilities, you'll do just fine in this process, and you'll come across as authentic, genuine, and a mature candidate.